one of the books which kind of tells, gives a little bit of a clue of some of the work that we do. Well, actually, to be honest, I was saying this for a little while, but I just read the book and I thought, wow, okay, cool. Someone else is saying it too, and it's research. I always believe that, from the story work is not just what goes on in the mind. I'm going to talk about the story work in a minute. The body tells our life story. How many of you that's new information to you? Your body tells your life story. One person said yes. Okay, everyone else knew this already. Well, I guess I'll just skip it then. Who here, this is new information? Okay, right? So the body is telling a story, telling your life story, because the body remembers. Energetically, it's keeping record. As Bessel van der Kolk says in his book, the body keeps score. So it's like a database of things that has happened in your timeline right up to now. Now you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm carrying all my trauma. Well, that's one of the things, but also you're carrying everything else, the joys, right? The fun, the experiences, all the good things, and the so-called bad things as well. And here's the cool thing. Yoga, I found, is the most advanced technology to unwire and rewire the story that is held in the body. So the story, what I mean by the story, is the narrative that runs in the mind. And in the story work that we do in the program, I'm talking about it now, and I know I was going to talk about it later, right? There is a core theme. If you uncover what is actually the voice, like you hear this voice in your head. How many of you are aware there's a voice in your head? Okay, one person, 3 people. Okay, more people are honest. Cool, thank you. Me too, I have a voice in my head. But if you pay attention, the essence of meditation, and it's actually why we do meditation in the program, the essence of meditation is to pay attention. And if you pay attention, it's not easy. But if you stick with it and do the work and stay consistent, you'll find that the voice has a certain few themes. And if you keep digging underneath it, you start to uncover there's one or a few, normally one, main core theme that is running the operating system that is your mind. It is like a movie, and you are the central character, frozen in time or doing time in our heads, rehashing the past, fantasizing about the future, never in the present moment. So we are kind of frozen, we're trapped in time, normally in the past. And normally where there's some high emotion. Something was said or not said enough, done, not done enough of. Therefore, a certain decision was made. Therefore, in that moment, we become frozen in time. And that's not just happening in the head, it happens emotionally because you can't compartmentalize these. The mind, the emotions, the body are not separate, right? And our connection to source, universe, love, life, God, whatever word works for you. Well, all of these are connected. We like to think things in compartments though, like compartmentalize things in our minds, right? We like to think things in straight lines, box things up, separate them, but it kind of doesn't work like that. It's all connected. So while the body tells a story, it's the same story that's going on inside. So therefore, our emotions reflect, right? If you think a thought, you feel certain emotions. You feel certain emotions, the body carries emotions in energy, right? In kind of like muscle tension and, lack of mobility is one expression of it. So, when someone's closed in, right there, these muscles are pulled in and you close up around here. Or what's happening? Energetically, we're kind of like protecting our hearts. And some people, you could see like their shoulders are just drawn in. These muscles here are kind of locked in. That's not an accident. If someone gets in a yoga pose, I can tell in a few seconds, I can guess what story they're running in their life. Not because I'm some magical being. We are all magical beings, by the way. It's just that I've had so many people on yoga mats, right? Like over the years, tens of thousands probably by now, in my 17 years of teaching, that I'd have to be an idiot not to see the patterns. The breathing pattern, our posture, how we carry ourselves, how we move, the body tells our story. The words that we use, the choices that we make, we are constantly telling our story. All it takes is for someone to actually be present and pay attention and to be able to just see. Sometimes people are like, oh my goodness, you're seeing into my soul. Maybe. But I can feel it. And I can kind of guess, like, okay, this is what's happening with this person. So the story work not only allows you to uncover your story and pull the pin on it so that it doesn't run your life anymore. You get freed up from it, right? You get to unlock yourself and free yourself from it. That's why we do the story work. And you're literally rewiring your body and your nervous system so that you can live from the kinds of emotions that you want, like joy, love, peace, abundance, whatever. Make sense? So that's actually so much emphasis, why we have so much emphasis on the yoga side of things, because yoga is what I specialize in. I mean, I'm not a PT or anything like that, or dance teacher. I'm sure they're all cool, but that's not what I specialize in. Well, I used to train in martial arts. I don't even teach martial arts, right? That's not what I'm doing. But yoga is what we use because it's a really powerful tool. It works really well with the meditation. It works really well with the inner work, the transformation work, and the energy work, the healing work. So it all goes together and gives you these results that we talked about in the pillars before. Here's one of the things that Basil said: for a real change to take place, the body needs to learn that the danger has passed and to live in the reality of the present. So it's like we're frozen in time. And so much of this work is awareness, like it's getting you back into the present moment. And it's not to mask or push down what was the past, but to let that energy move through and also be free from it so that you can learn and grow from it and not limited by it. You're not living from a past self, but a more updated, current, present version of you. Right? So we do that on the level of the body, on the level of the mind, on the level of emotions and energy. So I thought, Basil and his book is quite amazing. That's the book on the right there. Here's a little bit about our framework. And some of you might have seen this from, some other sessions that I've taught like this, like free sessions. So I'm going to brush through it quickly because some of you have seen it. The work that we do is on 4 major levels: the mind, the body, the emotions, and spirit, our connection to source, to spirit. Right? And I've been already talking through these earlier, all the way through to now. It's just a diagram for those of you. I'm visual, so I like visual things. And these 6 key areas, whether you're doing a 3-day awaken program or Inspire, which is 6 weekends plus 9 days, right? I'll talk about the schedule in a minute, or our year-long Inner Circle program. These are the 6 key areas of our body of work, right? The transformation work is on the level of body, as in physical body, your emotions, what's going on in the mind, right? This, I'm grouping that as body. Our connection to our purpose, our highest purpose in this lifetime. Carving out the space so that you can connect with that, and so that that can express through you, your highest purpose. And as I said before, when someone's connected to their purpose, they're off like a rocket. I've seen that over and over again in this program. Relationships. The deepest, most intimate relationship is ourself. And actually a bigger relationship is the one above that, which is spirit. But most of the time when I say relationship, people think of intimate relationship. Yeah, that's one of it. A lot of the story work is to do with the relationships of, energy of mother and father, because in our earlier years, that was 2 halves of our world, even if they were physically there or not, right? Or whatever the relationship was like with them. And then our relationship with the energy of time and money, right? I can go on about that. There's a whole course on that, so I'm not going to go into that. And our connection to spirit. So these are the 6 key areas in our body of work. This is our framework, whether you do a 3-day awaken, whether you do a year-long Inner Circle, or the Inspire program. This is our framework. Feel, to get present, using breath and body connection, to land into this body. And as you start to get present and become aware and become more conscious, you start to become aware of all the stuff that's within, that maybe has been pushed down, maybe in running away, maybe in hiding away, maybe in numbing out, whatever the strategy of the mind was. You start to become aware of that stuff. So then you're ready for the next part, which is heal. And healing can happen, as I said before, on all those 4 levels. the body, the mind, the emotion, and connection to source. So we do a lot of deep inner work and healing work. And a big chunk of the healing work is what is the story work in Inspire. And Inspire is the program where we do the most amount of story work, which is actually why it is one of our most powerful programs. And Manifest, once you've cleared out the stuff in the way, then there is space. It's like, your back garden. Once you've pulled out all the weeds, then you can plant some new seeds. And then it can germinate and grow into some, flowering and, whatever plants that can bear fruits. So it's kind of like that. Manifest, it's like you need to clear out the space. Then you've got space to actually call forth what you want from a higher frequency, right? Which is also why we need to clear out and let go of stuff to heal. Most times people want to jump straight to the manifest, and when they don't do the work, that's why we keep sabotaging it. You manifest things only to sabotage it, or you always manifest the thing that you don't want. How many of you can relate to either of those? You're really good at manifesting the things you don't want, or you manifest the thing you want and then you just sabotage it. And you keep sabotaging it. And you're like, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. It's just that there's stuff underneath that needs work. Most people don't know about this, so they don't talk about this. They get straight to the manifesting and go, oh, let's just sit here and do this blah, blah, blah stuff. And then, you go back and you get the same results as before. So this is actually the quickest way. The slow way is the fast way. We're in a time where we're too impatient with everything. But if you're willing to take the small, consistent steps and do the work that is required, which is actually not that long, in the grand scheme of your life, 6 weekends, right, for the online part and 9-day intensive in person is nothing in the grand scheme of your life. If that one little right block of time can change your life, would it be worth it? And yet people will say to me, I don't know, I don't have time. So I'll see them a year, 2, 3, 5 years later, and they're still going through the same cycles, sometimes worse. More burnout, more anxiety, more depression, more crash and burn. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. And they're still looking for the answers in the wrong place, which is outside of them. Still with the same excuses. I don't have the time, or I don't have the resources, or I don't have the money, or what if I did it and people don't like me? Right? Like, what if they don't love me anymore? Am I good enough for this? These are some of the things I'll hear. And of course you are, if you're considering it. The heal part of the framework, if you see the bottom left, there's the story work, which is actually what we do a lot of in Inspire. But Inspire, on the right, you see body, emotions, and mind. Right? The yoga process, the meditation, and the inner work. One of my gifts, I believe, in this lifetime, I've only got a couple. One of it is intervention work. So if you've been in any in-person live programs, or if you've been in, like any of our online programs, you see there's a lot of like interactive. I'm either on Zoom or in person, and I'm doing what I call interventions. And it's a combination of the modalities I've trained in, including energy work. Sometimes it just looks like conversation and people are receiving healings. Any of you had that before in any of those types of sessions? Like you just receiving healings. We're just talking. So it's always coming through. And so with the intervention work, it's not so much a kind of like step-by-step process anymore. It just, I'm channeling most of the time. And people can shift through sometimes their deepest, darkest, right? So if that's needed, I've got the skill set. And I believe that is my gift in this lifetime. So this program is also built on that we spend the 9 days together and the deep process that we go through. Part of the reason you hear these testimonials where people say in their own words, this process has changed my life because of this work and because of the intervention work, right? So you get a lot of that in this program. That's why it's so potent and powerful. This is the manifest framework. I'll give you the short version: clarity of intention and receive it back in frequency, emotion. And the radar to receive emotion, energy, right, is a heart. So that's why we do a lot of heart healing, heart opening work. And you see the layer underneath with beliefs. You can manifest all you want, you can be a great manifester, but if your belief system, or the BS that you tell ourselves, right, doesn't align, it's not empowering, we sabotage. That's why we manifest and sabotage, or that's why we believe we can never manifest what we want. It's because of the belief work underneath that's missing. So that's why we do a lot of belief work with the story work in this process. And that's why you see years later, 5, 10 years later, you go and look at my Instagram. Recently, I've talked to people, I haven't talked to them for like 10 years. And they're like, oh, it's so cool. I heard from you. And then, we talk and then they're like, here's my life, here's what's happening. And it all actually started back in the day when I started to shift that stuff. Go watch it. You'll see it for yourself. So unless you do the work of letting go of and clearing and healing the stuff in the past, and it begins with feeling to get present and healing what's in the past is always going to pull you back, and you cannot move forwards and live the future that you want, that vision that you want. So I like visuals, so teams put together a visual for you.